Hello everyone, welcome to ServiceNow Mastery Series. So today in this video, we are going to do our first PDI exercise, which is based on the GRC entity framework. For that, what you have to do is come on your personal developer instance and come on the plugins because you have to install the GRC, which is policy and the compliance management, which is not there into your PDI. So you have to just type policy and the compliance management in the search bar. So I've installed it, right? GRC. So you have to click on it and you have to install this one, which is shown on your screen. GRC policy and the compliance management. So you have to install this and you can also load the demo data. So what is entities, what is entity type, what is entity class. So the whole entire framework, it consists of the entities. Like entities are the people, places, or any of the objects that need to be monitored in order to manage risk. Uh, Next is the entity types. So the entity types are the dynamic categories containing one or more entities. So they are associated with the policies, control objective, risk framework, and risk engagement. So many of the entity types can be there for entities. And next is the entity class. So basically an entity class identifies a common information about a set of the entities, right? That can be used when creating the reports and assigning advanced risk assessment. Every entity is assigned to one entity class. So let's just deep dive into it and build an entity framework, right? So one more thing which I want to share it with you, entity type scoping. So what is entity type scoping? It is a process of determining which dynamic categories are needed by an organization for continuous monitoring. So there are many approaches, right, that an organization can take when the entity type scoping. So these approaches vary based on the organization risk and compliance area of focus. So there are so many of the things are present in the organization. We can take it and make it as an entity, but we have to choose some specific one which we can make it, which we can choose it to make as an entity. So for that thing, we need entity type scope. So entity filters automate the process of creating entities. Basically, when we just choose a filter condition, then it will automatically process the creation of entities. So an entity filter looks at the existing ServiceNow data, which is there into the source table, and it automatically generate the entities that will further meet up the entity filter conditions. So we have to set the filter conditions, right? And one more thing is there, entity ownership. So what is entity ownership? Entity owners are determined on the entity filter for keeping entity owners in sync with the field on the source record. So entity owner is assigned from the managed by values on the building table. Whoever you want to keep it managed for, then you can choose that person as an entity owner. Right? There's a real-time example, which is third-party vendor risk. Okay, so our business scenario is that we have taken ABC Bank, which we have already taken it earlier, and I have explained you about by taking the ABC Bank scenario in our first video. If you have not checked it out, then I would recommend you to go and just see about the whole ABC Bank scenario. Uh, Step by step I have explained it. So in the ABC Bank, it utilizes multiple vendors, right? Which is cloud, payment gateways, and many more. So they want to track risk and compliance for each vendor. So to create the CMDB records, so what we have to do, we have to just go to the CMDB underscore CI underscore APPL. APPL is for application dot list. When you just click on it, then in front of you, the CMDB application will get open, right? If inside your PDI in the CMDB application is already there for vendor, so you don't need to create it. But if it's not, then you have to create one. So you'll just click on create new to create a vendor CMDB records. So I will choose with two application. I'll create records such as AWS Cloud Services and XYZ Payment Gateway, right? I'll just go and choose name as AWS Cloud Services, right? And the operational status will be operational, right? And I'll just click on save or submit. Next, I'll also create one more application which is XYZ. The step 2 is to create the entity class. So to create the entity class, we have to first create the entity class, right? So entity class is a logical grouping name that tell us what kind of asset this is. So we have to click on new, and inside new you have to enter the name, which is you can enter the name as vendor management or vendor applications. Vendor applications is the name, and click on submit. Next, we have to create the entity types. So we'll just click on the entity types and click on new. Then name it. We made it. I'll just click on new. Make our entity type as name as third party vendor, right? And just click on save. Then, as you can see on the entity type itself, there is entity filters. So we have to just click on the entity filter. Then there is the filter condition and the assignment. So filter condition, entity filter type. So build your own condition. You can build your own condition as well as you can select from the predefined queries as well. So I'm just selecting it from which table? CMDB application table. So I'm just clicking at CMDB underscore CI underscore APPL dot list. Okay. Okay, this is there. CMDB underscore CI underscore APPL, and then we have to click on the filter condition. So the filter condition, what it will be? Vendor must be true. So we have to make the filter condition which is operational. Okay, operational status is true. So there are operational status is the operational. So there are so many other application also which is there in the CMDB, which is already there, not related to the vendor management, but other application will be also there whose operation will be true, right? So inside the entity filter, it will fetch out all of the things. So as you can see, number of the records matching the condition is 19. So the entities will automatically, it will generate an entity filter 19 entities. So inside the assessment, it's an entity classes application. Default owner, you can make it to anyone. I'm just making to Celia Selvin. And the user owner field must be true, because to sync it, source field for the owner, it can be like managed by. So I'm just clicking on the managed by an auto update owner. If the owner get changes, so it will automatically update it, and the empty owner will be used default. And I'll just click on submit. When I'll just click on submit, so as you can see, entity filter 1 is already there, right? Now it's time to, from the entity filters, now it's time to enter the into entities. So update entities from filter, you have to click it. So it will automatically generate the entities from the entity filter. So this pop-up arrives updating entities from this entity type, which is third party vendor. So it takes some of the time. Now you can also check by reloading the form. As you click on reload, so you can able to see entities, 19 entities are there, right? Okay, and inside 19 entities, we also have our AWS cloud services and XYZ payment gateway, which we have already created. So I have also shown you by creating the CMDB application, and inside the CMDB application, there are other applications also, which is a operational status is the operation, and it fetches out all the entities from there. So in this way, you can make entity type, entities from the entity filters and entity class. In our next video, we'll be going to see compliance management. Till then, bye bye.